Welcome to Tax 990. In this video, I'm going to show you how to file Form 990-PF through our system. From your dashboard, make sure you have the correct tax year selected, and then click Start Now next to Form 990-PF. In this first area here, your tax year will default to a calendar year, but if you run on a fiscal year, you can click on these boxes and change the start and end dates. You can edit organization information here, and then check all that apply to you. If this is the initial return, final return, etc. If nothing applies, leave it blank. Down here, check the type of organization that you are, then add your accounting method here, and read over these boxes here, check any that apply to you, or leave them blank if none apply. Part 1, you'll need to add your revenue and expenses. Adding revenue on lines 1 through 12. As you add information, it will all be totaled up here in line 12. And then you're going to add expenses on lines 13 through 26. And then the system will do the calculations for you, subtracting the total of line 26 from line 12 to give you your total excess of revenue over expenses and disbursements. When you're finished with this page, move on to page 2. This is the balance sheet. So you're going to need to enter beginning of year book value, end of year book value, and fair market value for everything here. Filling out assets in lines 1 through 16. Filling out assets in lines 1 through 16. And then liabilities in lines 17 through 23. Then net assets and fund balances in lines 24 through 30. If you follow FASB ASC 958, check here, and you can skip lines 26 through 30. In part 3, the system will calculate things here for you. You can add additional info using these green buttons. And if you want more information about how the balance sheet works, you can click this video here to view a more detailed explanation. Move on to page 3. In part 4, you're going to need to add capital gains and losses for tax on investment income using this orange button. You can either add this by manual entry or by bulk uploading information. You have it that way. If you do bulk upload, you'll need to download our template, open it in Excel or a similar program, and then re-upload it. You can see instructions here for more information. For now, we'll do a manual data entry, add, and that will fill out that information here. And if you add more than one, everything will total up down here. In part 5, you'll need to enter your excise tax based on investment income. If you're exempt from this, you can check this box. Otherwise, you'll need to enter the date of ruling and fill out all this information. When you're finished, go to page 4. This is part 6A, statements regarding activities. Go through answering all the questions and filling out everything that applies to you. On line 13, enter your web address for the public inspection of your returns. Then on line 14, enter who the organization's books are in the care of. If this is a business, you can check this box. If it's a person, just enter their name, phone number, address, and then move on. Finishing these final questions down here. And then we'll move to page 5. In part 6B, you'll be entering statements regarding activities for which Form 4720 may be required. You will need to file Form 4720 if any item is checked yes in one of these columns. So go through and answer all these questions. When you're finished, move to page 6 and finish out the section on Form 4720, answering all the questions. Then in part 7, you're going to add information about your officers, directors, trustees, and more. You will need to add at least one. Then in this next section, you'll need to add the compensation of the 5 highest paid employees other than those in line 1. If there are none, you can check none and move on to page 7. Then you'll need to add the 5 highest paid independent contractors. Again, if there are none, you can check none. Then you'll need to enter the summary of direct charitable activities. So you'll need to enter the 4 largest activities and the expenses associated with that. And then down here, you'll need to add the summary of program-related investments, so the 2 largest on lines 1 and 2. Then all other program-related investments down here, and you can add more with this orange button. When you're finished, move on to page 8. In part 9, you're going to add the minimum investment return, adding information as necessary. In part 10, you're going to enter the distributable amount. In part 11, qualifying distributions, and then move on to page 9. Part 12, undistributed income. When you're finished, move on to page 10. If part 13 is required, fill it out. If it's not required, it will be grayed out. In part 14, add supplementary information, only if the foundation had $5,000 or more in assets during the year. So we're going to list out managers of the foundation who have contributed more than 2%, etc. Filling all this out, you can add conditions down here and move on to page 11. In this continued section of the supplementary information, you can add grants and contributions paid during the year, again adding them manually or uploading them, and you can add grants and contributions approved for future payment here. When you're finished, move to page 12, and then add analysis of income producing activities, filling all of this out as necessary, and then move on to page 13. In part 16, you're going to add information regarding transfers to and transactions and relationships with non-charitable exempt organizations, answering all these questions. If required, fill this section out. If not, it'll be grayed out. And then add the signature of the officer or trustee. So first and last name, title, and SSN. And now you're finished with the form. So any schedules that are required will appear down here, and you should fill those out. So Schedule B, page 1, general rule applies to us. Page 2, we're going to need to add contributors. Total contributions, more than $5,000. Move on to page 3 and page 4. Then you can move on to statements, if any are required, and then attachments. Under attachments, you can upload PDFs that you want to include with your return for IRS reference. When you're all finished with the form, proceed to audit and transmit. Select how you want to pay your balance due, either EFW or EFTPS. Accept that it's your responsibility to make the tax payment, click Next. Check over the return summary once more, click Continue to Audit. And your return will be checked by the system for common errors. If any errors are found, they will appear like this, and you can click Fix Error to be taken to that error on the form. It will give you an explanation of the error and where to find it. So just fix the errors, and then when you're ready for the next error, click the Next Error button, and it will take you to the correct section. Then just proceed back through the audit process until no errors are found. Next, now you can add reviewers and approvers to your return to help you check it over for common errors. So just enter their name and address, add more reviewers here, and then click Share Return. You can view or add comments to them here, and view the status of the process here. This will change as they work their way through the form. For more information on this, check the link in the description. And then when you're finished with all this, click Next. Now you need to e-sign the Form 8453-TE. You can e-sign on your own, send the e-sign request to the relevant person using this button, sending it via email with a secure portal, or manually upload that form. I'll show you how to e-sign on your own. Scroll down, click to e-sign, either into your name as plain text with one of these styles, draw your name, or upload an image of your signature. Regardless, agree that that will be your electronic signature, and adopt and sign, and then upload e-sign form. Now we'll click Next. And you can either select just 990PF e-filing with Tax 990 or e-filing of 990PF and California 199 for a discount. Then you can add text or fax alerts to get updates immediately when the IRS processes the return. If you don't select either of these options, you'll still get email updates, and you can view the status in your account. Click Next. Then check everything over one more time and click Complete Your Order. And since our reviewer never had a chance to approve the return, we'll get a pop-up warning. You can say, no, I don't want to transmit, and let them approve it, or just go ahead and transmit. Enter or select a credit card, confirm that you have the authority to use that card, and click Pay and Transmit. And that's it, you've successfully transmitted your Form 990PF to the IRS. Stay tuned for updates on the status of your form. Thank you for making Tax 990, the #1 e-file provider for nonprofits. If you have more questions, you can reach out to our support team at 704-839-2321 or by email at support@tax990.com.